Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 2 of what we have designated as Constructive Conversations here with St. Cloud's Constructive Community. Introduce yourselves, boys, starting with Austin and your field.
I'm Austin with 4 Aces Junk Removal and Dumpster Services.
I'm Aaron with Complete Construction. We do general contracting, roofing, and recreational installations.
Jordan?
United Construction Solutions.
Jordan, what do you do?
Hey, here's a good
Hi, I'm Matthew with All Season Stainless Gutters.
All right, I'm Jason from Around My Town.
You might have seen him around your town. If you do, you'll hear about the podcast. I have a question for you, starting off immediately, which we discussed briefly before the camera started rolling.
Disclaimer, very briefly.
Yes, so let's get right into it. You're in construction, and you're in St. Cloud, Kissimmee, Osceola construction over the last couple of months and for the foreseeable future. How many projects do you see on the horizon, and how much growth are we going to foresee in the next year, especially coming to commercial?
I personally think that with all of the residential growth that we have, I believe we're one of the largest growing, fastest growing cities in the country right now. And all we've seen is houses, which then translates to the dreaded St. Cloud traffic. As far as commercial work is concerned, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of it come 2025 for Osceola County in general. Because we've had so much residential growth over the past few years, they're going to need more commercial growth to support the influx of residences. So that's personally where I see it.
Austin, have you had any trajectory and uptick in commercial jobs?
We definitely do get a lot of commercial jobs. We get a lot of inquiries about commercial jobs, but I do agree with Aaron. I think as more residents subside here, we're going to have to grow the commercial side, or it's just going to come organically, because small businesses don't go where you're not going to go open a Starbucks in the middle of a town of 500 people. There's
Right.
not enough there for people, but I do believe as more residents come here, it doesn't have a choice.
That's a typical. There's a percentage for it. There is some kind of formula.
Big companies.
There needs to
Spend
be
a lot of money doing
There's
that
an
to make
algorithm
sure
behind
there's
what
gonna
they do.
be-
There needs to be a certain amount of residents before they bring in.
Which would be why we have 4 Starbucks in a 5-mile radius. We've got 4 McDonald's. We've got 4 Taco Bells. They know what they're doing when it comes to these huge corporate conglomerates. That's why we're seeing more of this stuff pop up, because we are becoming so densely populated. So.
Matthew, can you, because obviously when you say gutters, you immediately think houses and residential. So how does your business correlate to the commercial aspect of what's going on?
I don't really.
We do gutters.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
He does gutters, man.
Yeah,
But do you see a percentage? Do you see like a larger percentage in more commercial calls than residential calls, or is it about the same?
It's about the same, really. I don't see too much of a fluctuation there, commercial to residential. It's either roofs getting done on residential or commercial. They either need a gutter or they don't.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So
So-
primarily for you, it is the residential
It
side.
is, yeah.
Although you did do a massive project in Disney, can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, we did. They're having like a massive.
NDA, man, Disney. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. In the Disney area.
Right. They're doing a massive dance competition out there, and they had us come out and put gutters on a tent. It's just for the week. So
But it's massive. That was a pretty big tent, man.
it was. And it was-
Gutters on a tent.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we couldn't even
Can't screw
we
into
can't
it.
screw
You can't
into
do
the
anything.
beams, we can't do anything. So we had to pretty much get there, figure out what was going on, and create our own brackets to where we could clip onto the
There you
beams
go.
and not screw into the beams for the gutters.
good.
So it was pretty wild.
But you got it done.
Oh yeah, we definitely. Nothing's gonna be.
Set them aside for next
good.
year. You just
Yeah.
gotta bring them back and hang them back up.
And that just goes to show you that being versatile makes you the person that people call. Matt's got the market cornered.
That's great.
And I would imagine, as to allude to that at the same pace, would be the ingenuity that takes
Oh, yeah.
to pivot and do that on the fly, especially for such a big company, and have that company come back and call you again. Huge
yeah.
deal, especially for a local business.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm curious to see what was the call like, or how did they come up with that problem and say, hey, can you solve this for us? What was the
Well, it's been-
conversation like?
I guess they've had us out there probably 3 or 4 years now. So it's a reoccurring thing.
Okay.
Every year they have this dance competition out there, and they want this gutter up every year. So we go out. We did it the first time, and it was At first, it was mind blowing, and then now you
Now
know
it's just we're
what's-
doing what we
You know,
we're doing what we did.
You
Time
know
and
you're
time
gonna
again.
have to figure it out when you get there, and it's not really a cookie cutter job.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, and I
We
like
all need
I
it
like that.
sometimes.
Like I said, the ingenuity it takes to come, walk in, see a problem that everyone else sees, and then be tasked to solve that problem that nobody else has solved is quite a feather in the cap.
Yeah.
Especially from one of the most sizable, successful corporations in the entire world.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Small town business goes big time, really.
Aaron, could you talk to me a little bit about, you're still fairly new with your company,
Yes.
and I want to talk to you a little bit about your generosity in allowing us to film the podcast in your space, which we
Appreciate it.
greatly appreciate, but also just your transition into this space coming from where you came from. So what has that been like? Where do you see your trajectory over the next year? And this is a question I'm going to ask each of you when it comes to 2025, because
So-
it's the start of the year.
First of all, transition, absolutely seamless. I came from a good situation. We had an amicable divorce, if you will, and it's just been seamless. There's so much support. There's so much outpouring of help and, hey, what can we do for you? How can we help you? What do you need? And my biggest, moving into it, I've made a name for myself in our local community. However, making a new name behind a different brand can sometimes be challenging. And I think that's where the support comes in. Like I said, I've had endless support from our team, our ownership. It's been terrific. My trajectory, like we talked about earlier, for us smaller business guys, residential homeowners that need your services, that's where you start. Mrs. Jones is the one that calls you when you've got
Yeah.
your one truck and you're that one guy and you get out on the road by yourself and you start your company. She's going to call you for a bathroom remodel. Okay, great. When that turns into 18 Mrs. Joneses, and then once you do make that name for yourself, you step into a commercial space. My goal for this year, because like I said, the network that I do have is pretty large and we have been very successful with residential work thus far. My biggest with the roofing division this year is stepping into the commercial space. So that's my trajectory this year is definitely taking on a lot more commercial work.
Jordan, what about you?
He's
Okay.
gonna blow up.
Yeah, definitely. I
He's
can see
thinking
it.
about it.
He's thinking about it.
So Jordan Dumford is here with us in spirit today. He's got a birthday celebration going on with friends and family, so he couldn't make it. But I did tell him that we'd make sure he was here.
Right.
So this is our version of Jordan Dumford with United Construction Solutions today.
Which is also another good sponsor for us. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it, as well as Matt from All Seasons Gutters.
I will quickly talk about Jordan's trajectory as well. I know that he likes to be in the commercial space. It's very lucrative. He does a great job at it. We all work together every day.
Working on
Yeah.
St. Cloud together too.
Exactly. And that's to go back to what I was saying, and I know all of us can agree on this. That's my biggest thing right now is supporting local commerce in general, not
Yeah.
just businesses, but anything, period. That's why, hey, you guys want to come shoot a podcast at the office? Go for it, because it's only benefiting all of us. Of
course.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all win. So.
Yes, agreed. Austin, what about you? I know you just made some big business moves.
Yeah, we want to step into some of the larger dumpsters, not roll-off trucks, but we're going to try and start offering some 20-yard dumpsters and even a smaller one too, considering buying some 12-yard dumpsters so it'd have kind of a broader spectrum. We can offer just various sizes for different projects, even roofs. Sometimes it's pretty tight. We've done a few in, was it Tika Village?
Mhm.
And it's a trailer park. The driveways are extremely small.
And the roofs
So-
aren't
and the
very
roofs are pretty decent size, but having the availability to put something smaller in there that's going to accommodate that as well is good for commercial and residential. Some residents don't have as much stuff as we would need a bigger dumpster for, so it's nice to be able to offer a more cost-effective solution for them. And then on the flip side, having bigger dumpsters, most construction sites want a 20-yard dumpster or more, so we want to be able to get in on some of that too. So more commercial work.
He bought
would be
bigger
good.
dumpsters. Now I have to do bigger roofs.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
That's how it works. That's good.
trajectory-wise for you, you started here with buying the bigger dumpsters. Where do you want to be winter of at the end of 2020?
We started with two. I have two 20-yard dumpsters now. I would like to purchase at least two more this year and possibly two 12s to get us into the ballpark of being able to have. You can't buy just one. You have to have one to at least service the other one. I try to pride it on being able to swap something out. I don't like to go pick up a dumpster and have to go to the landfill and dump it and leave them without something. So having more options and then being able to service them faster. So I do want to add more dumpsters, and then we added a piece of equipment this year. We bought a mini excavator to help with demolitions that we do and larger projects.
So here's a question for you to help our viewers correlate. So what were some of the big jobs that you did that helped you get to that point? So if someone's in that situation, they can immediately think, oh, Austin can handle this. Now he's got the equipment to handle this and more.
So the hurricanes helped us out last year. I know it sounds bad, but we went and did quite a bit of work down south, starting to help people get their houses back.
That's something that affects everyone. So now they know,
Absolutely.
like, when a storm comes through,
Call him.
call you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
If your house floods, we can help you start the process. Got someone to put it back together, but we can help open it up to be able to help you not get mold. We are not a mold remediation company, but we can help get all of the bad drywall out, all the furniture, all the stuff that's just total loss. Those were good jobs for us last year. There was a few of them. Large cleanouts are always, when there's mass quantities of things, of course there's going to be more money. So
Matt, what about you? Everyone here benefits from rain, except maybe Jason or myself. But
Right. I see us. I want to be. By the end of this year, I want to have a second truck on the road 5 days a week. So I want to take us from doing a minimum of 10 jobs a week, and I want to be able to turn around and do 20 per week.
One thing we're also talking about collectively was Google reviews.
yes, we had
That's a
that
huge
conversation.
business goal for all of us this year, is to make sure that we're getting these reviews. And, you know, if we do a good job and someone's willing to tell the general public we did a great job, put it on the internet.
Yeah.
And Jason from around my town can help you with that.
Yes, he
Yes.
can.
Absolutely.
He's the guy.
Yeah, that's where I'm projecting is I want to be able to do that. And when it comes to the commercial aspect of it, I want to get more into, like, everyday gutter is just your 6-inch case tile and 3x4 downspouts, right? I want to get more into the box gutter and the half round and the more custom stuff. I'd really like to make that turn. This local community has helped us grow massively in the past year and a half, and I couldn't be more thankful for that, for the trust that they all put into us. But yeah, I'd like to double the revenue.
Sure.
2025.
That's great.
So those more technical things, because just for the basic viewer that's thinking gutter is a gutter, like those higher end things, where do you find those? Where do these people find those to know, oh, that's what Matt was talking about? I can call him. This is a specialty thing that requires a professional. Where do you see that? Where will they be able to recognize that?
So, like, when you get into that kind of stuff, it's more industrial buildings, right?
Okay.
It's your more, probably like your flat roofs. They might have box gutter on it. Might be able to get away with 7-inch case style, but you really should probably go with the box gutter and box downspout. Hold a lot more volume of water.
So one thing that you also got into last year, and I guess this goes into the projection question, is the eave lighting. I know you've done a few, so can you talk a little bit about that? Hopefully you could get into that more this year.
Yeah, I'm actually
Matt, hang your Christmas lights.
so I'm actually looking at a course right now. It's called Clippa, and it's a whole training course to where we can get different designs of lights, not just, hey, we got white lights we're gonna put up on our house, right? They got peppermint lights where it's red and white lights that I'm sure everybody has seen, and different designs of what we can do with reefs and
It's cool, man.
eve lighting. And,
It's a huge market.
oh
Think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, definitely.
So
There's people that are doing in a season 3 months, and they're doing $800,000 in 3 months.
That's
of revenue
insane.
just on lighting.
Well, I was going to say, can it be customizable? Because Halloween
Absolutely.
into Christmas, you don't got to worry about just red and white. You
Yeah.
can do
Yeah,
all
all
kinds of
all
colors.
Now with,
If you're festive, it's perfect. Opportunity, perfect.
So with the LED lights, especially the ones that are now just spend a few $100s on, you can do that all year round for Valentine's Day,
Yep.
for 4th of July, for
Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Like,
Absolutely.
you have holiday lights on your house, and if there is no holiday, you've got some pretty sweet soffit lighting.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. So I have, thanks to Matt, he helped me install it, and I have red, white, and blue for the inauguration and everything that's happened this year so far. And we've been able to. We had a HOA. Some people still have holiday lights on, and then you're gonna get a letter on Monday. I'm like, these guys, if they come at me with anything, I'm just gonna change them all white. I'm saying, like, what are you talking about? right? Because you
Exactly.
could put white
Yeah.
off, but they didn't come at me. So I'm like, great. So I'm just gonna change it up for Valentine's Day, 4th of July. Like
Again,
every
where they
single
mess
one.
up is by calling them holiday lights. Hey, yes, they are holiday lights. They're not my Christmas lights.
Right.
We've got a nationally recognized holiday pretty much every month.
Pretty much.
You know, light it up.
That's it. That's it. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I appreciate it, man. That was great. I think I'm telling you, I would never be on that roof the way they got up there. So the second floor. No, it's
The
massive. I'm
same
telling
way.
you.
Yeah.
Even going into the first floor on top of that, I'm the comment.
So
All the
events.
professionals.
Events. Let's talk about some events. I know you guys got pretty into the Connect business world and hosting events and sponsoring events a lot at the end of last year. And I thank you guys for that because St. Cloud's small business community is pretty, I mean, it's pretty tight. But like you show up at 2 meetings, you pretty much are going to see the same people that are going to show up to every meeting. These people are passionate about the infrastructure and the backbone of small business in St. Cloud.
I
So-
think we're pretty passionate about our community in general. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why we
Great
do
way
it.
to put it. Yes.
Yeah.
So events wise, where do you guys see yourself in that space for this year? Have you really pieced together any ideas right now?
We did get heavily involved with St. Cloud Connect last year. It was another networking group that is offered around here, around St. Cloud and surrounding areas. We mostly focus on St. Cloud. We've since shifted to St. Cloud Business Network. It's all the same people. We just changed the name
A
and
rebranding of
we
sorts, if you will.
rebranded it. But it's going to be the same thing. But look out for that St. Cloud Business Network. There's another page going around that's St. Cloud Business Buzz Support Local at the end. That is it's a sister page to that. So that's for everyone to go on and do their hopefully no rants but rave.
Yeah.
You know.
It happens though.
Yeah, testimonials, and even advertise about your business or any events you might be holding that you want to make public.
So do you want to talk about the next event coming up?
Sure. On Tuesday, February 4th, so this week coming up, we are going to have it's our evening meeting. It's at, where's it at again?
Bone Sack
Brewery.
Right off of
Brewery,
10th Street.
Right off of 10th Street across from the fire department. And it's going to be our kickoff for the new
Annual
rebranding.
meeting.
And it's going to be awesome. Come on out and enjoy it.
So we always have this challenge here when it comes to events and dates and the podcast recording. So hopefully we get it out in time. I'll try my best to
Yeah.
get it out in time. But then, do you have a vision for next month's? Do you know more or
We
less?
also have February's daytime, and that's the beauty of this. What we do with this networking
Yeah.
event is that it is a twice a month thing, and we had originally approached the originators of Connect, and Austin and I said, "Hey, why are we only doing this once a month? You're going to do business with people you can trust. How am I supposed to get to know and trust somebody if I only see them once a month?"
Of course.
Right.
So then we pitched the idea of the nighttime meetings. People have different schedules. We've got the nighttime, which is the first Tuesday of the month, and then we've got the morning, which is the third Thursday,
Of the
sometimes fourth, depending on how many Thursdays are in the month, or how many weeks are in the month, more or less.
So for this one, is what day? Do you have it off the top?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
But we can
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
can we
yeah.
find it?
Where can we find it?
we can find it on Facebook.
Okay.
St.
There we
Cloud
go.
Business Network.
And once I find it, it's going to be on the Around My Town app as well.
And then we've also got everybody's goal is to do more in the community annually. Everybody wants to do more and more. Parades have become a huge thing for us. It's a great way to not only support your community, support whatever organization is being sponsored by or sponsored for, but like the February 15th, it's a Saturday this month at 10 a.m., we've got the Silver Spurs Rodeo Parade,
Yeah.
which is one of the longest running rodeos in the country.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, right here in our tiny little
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
Osceola
It's-
County.
Shortly after that will be here we have Rodeo Day. So we're off on a Friday for Rodeo Day. That'll back up the routes here in Osceola County, but the fair's coming. That's a big thing for
Yeah.
Always.
small businesses too. You see anything from crafters to just
Food
people,
vendors,
food
yeah.
vendors, tents, just advertising your business. So there's the fair. there's-
Marketing professionals.
Yes, there's people that put banners up on the buck and shoots for the rodeo itself for all the bull riding events. But that's a good event here that happens every year. The fair and the rodeo is definitely very cool. I think we all look forward to that.
Yeah.
And my kids love it. They love animals.
Jordan loves it too.
Yep.
Yeah. He does.
Look at him. He's all struck.
He's all that. He's smiling.
Yeah, he's speechless.
He's a happy boy this morning. At a loss for words.
I will say one thing I've noticed while driving around the town is y'all have a lot of signs out. I'm driving around and I'm like, because I live in the manor, Oasis signs are all over
Yeah.
the place. all season signs are all over the place. And I'm just going to throw Matt under the bus and say he throws business cards in front of my business
I
card.
didn't know I did this.
Wow. Covering Dalton up.
I didn't mean to, all right? I just went in and hit the post, told Miss Bonnie I was leaving some business cards. I put them on the register.
I'll tell you what, though,
Yeah,
signs are expensive. Which is a relative term. I've been on a couple sign campaigns with Austin and put signs where Matt's got signs, and it works. As a small business, marketing is expensive in general.
Yep.
Unless you choose around my town, it's actually a very affordable option. Just saying. Shameless plug.
Right.
With code enforcement, HOAs, neighbors, it gets tough. You got to really get those signs where they're going to stay for a couple days. Get your money.
Friday in the afternoon, or Friday
Right,
around
Friday
2,
afternoons.
Friday around 2
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
We should be all right.
But it also
County
helps
gets on at
recognition.
3:30.
There you go. There you go. Unless someone in the county is watching this and they'll be like, oh, but I got him.
And then they should leave our signs alone. We'll pick them up, we promise.
What was it? You told me that the person that picked up the sign actually called you for a job?
Yeah, I had a call probably a month and a half ago. It was a customer that said, "Hey, code enforcement gave me your phone number," and I said,
What?
I said, "Code enforcement gave you my phone number?" And she said, "Yeah." I started thinking, I'm like, I put a lot of signs out, and a bunch got picked up. Maybe they picked up a lot and had a call, and it was a yard full of junk. Like, it was just stuff everywhere scattered. It needed to be cleaned up, and I'm assuming they had picked up a lot of my signs, and that was the first name that came to mind.
They probably
So
had
maybe.
Whole
probably
new
had-
marketing
maybe
strategy
lucrative.
solution.
Was it
Yeah, it was
lucrative?
pretty lucrative. It was a couple dumpsters full, and then a good size. We had the excavator there. There was a massive pile of just
So it was worth it.
junk. Yeah, it was definitely worth it. That job paid for all the signs 4 times over, and I still have half the
Yeah.
signs to go. So yeah, it's all it takes is one good thing, and you might get nothing from it. It's just the risk that it takes, but you should get something from it.
You'll always get something because it's brand recognition.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Get the logo out there.
Yeah, of course.
It's out there. Someone
Yeah.
in code enforcement.
The same thing we're talking to Matt. Matt's been on the cover of a magazine for the last couple months, and then Jordan was there for a couple months. And yeah,
Which is awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. And the great thing is that you may not get a call directly from the magazine, but it's like the brand recognition, like you talked about, right? You see them there, and then you see the sign, and then you see them on Google and whatnot. So it's just a matter of being consistent. If you disappear and say, "Oh yeah, I'll just get it from referral," that's just
Yeah.
not going to be enough.
And the cool thing is, like we were talking about, like everybody, I could tell you what Matt's logo is. I could tell you what Austin's logo is, your logo, Dalton's logo, my logo. But on the cover of a magazine, putting a name, a face to a name, Matt's on there. Oh, hey, I've seen that guy around town 100 times. He's
Right.
my neighbor. I never knew that's what he did. It's creating that recognition where not only brand recognition, but it's, you could say, going to make people a little bit more comfortable. Hey, this guy's on the face of a magazine. Obviously, he's trustworthy.
It's also
And he does great work.
it's subliminal as well. I had
That's what it
probably
is.
3 business meetings at the Tequila House in the last 3 weeks. As soon as you walk in the
It's
door,
right there.
Matt's face.
Yeah.
And Matt's not working there,
And
but
by-
Matt's face.
Yeah.
And by the way, since January, when we started distributing, January 3rd, January 4th, whenever that Monday was, we've had to replace Tequila House 3 times.
That's awesome.
And it's a massive stack. Like, it's a good amount. And then Krabby Bill's also, this is the 3rd time now, so 2 times that we had to replace it. And it's been empty. So people are seeing it. People are taking it to the car. And then if you look at the digital component too, that we send it on social media, we send it on our email, it gets over 12,000 eyeballs on it.
That's awesome.
So every single month you've gotten 12,000 eyeballs on your, just being on the cover of the magazine.
So I know you're not a guest, but I have a question for you.
Oh,
on
sure.
that. So you can talk more about your business. Is how does that correlate to your strategy on disbursement? Does that tell you, oh, I'm getting more hits in these businesses? Should I start focusing more
It's-
on these kind of businesses?
Yeah, that's the thing. So more places, right? So we've talking about projection. In the last 12 months, we went from 50 or 60 spots to now we're at 120 spots. So we basically doubled the amount of distribution places.
That's great.
In a matter of 12 months, which is fantastic. And then digital-wise, my Instagram has grown pretty much the same amount. Like, I was at 2,500 just as felt like last year, and now I'm almost at 5,500. And then I have my email list was at a few hundred, and now I'm at 1,000. So all those things combined, it helps my clients in distribution because it used to be 7,000 eyeballs. Now we're double. We're at 12,000 eyeballs
Yeah.
every single month.
Yeah.
So I want to, again, you guys aren't guests. I'm not the host, but I honestly, I feel like do you have any advice in marketing for small business professionals in our area?
First of all, hire around my town. That's number one.
That is
Step one. No.
The thing is, listen, you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
It can't just be, oh, I'm just going to try it out for a month and see if it's working, or try it out for a couple. You have to be consistent, and that's why I tell Jordan, I'm like, look, Jordan, your Google ads may work, your Google reviews may work, right? You're this, but you have to keep it going, consistency. And even if there's
Hear that,
no,
bud?
yeah, you keep it going, man.
Yeah, I
You-
got to consistently show up.
That's it.
I made
But-
sure he was here today.
Exactly. So even if you say, oh, I don't have the budget for it, it's all right, what can we do now? And that's where you hire the professionals. Is like, all right, for 3 months, we're going to do this tactic within your budget. And even if it doesn't work, let's say, we're going to do this other tactic for 3 months.
So you guys will specifically
Of course.
formulate a budget-based plan.
Absolutely.
Hey,
So-
if you've only got this much money, let's get the most out of it we can. This
Absolutely.
might not be the step for you because you don't have the bigger budget to spend. You do have a smaller budget business option.
Of course. And
Awesome.
the key thing also too, and we've talked about this, is your Google presence. Outside of Googling your name, right, you need to be present in the top 3. And some folks are in the second page. Some people are in the bottom of the page. That's number 1, because if you Google construction, local construction, if you're not up there, then all these competitors are going to be out there, especially in this competitive market.
Okay.
And then when you Google your name and you end up being 3
Yeah.
as Google, that's a bigger problem. If other people are ranking for your name, then that's something where you have to hire the extras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks.
No,
We-
yeah,
yeah.
great. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. But overall, in the construction business, there's a lot of competition,
Oh, tons.
especially here, especially with the growth. There's enough for everyone, but you have to be out there.
Find your niche. What separates you from the next guy? you know?
Exactly, and just be out there. If I can't find you, then I'm not going to hire you on Google. Right.
What are your projections for 2025 since we're here? Jason had his moment in the spotlight. Who are you and what do you do?
Here I try to just be podcast host. That's primarily my lane when I'm sitting in front of the microphone, spotlighting other people. I do real estate professional. Please don't refer to me as a realtor. We talked about that earlier.
Absolutely.
I have my reasons for that, mostly association, because my business is also flooded with people. The attrition rate in my business is also 86% fail. So 3 years, 4 years in, I feel like I've been fairly successful. So I do real estate. However, this year I'm transitioning more into luxury. Reason being, because I've seen the way the market works. I've watched the market dictate and correlate and pretty much lay waste to agents in the industry that have to flex and bend to the market. Luxury, you don't have to do that. I don't know, for anyone that doesn't know at this table or watching, your top 10% of your market in Central Florida is $3 million and above. Your $1 to $2 million mark for real estate when it comes to luxury is incredibly oversaturated. You have tons of agents trying to break into that market. You have tons of houses in that price range. But true luxury, $3 million and above, you only got about 1,400 houses in the Orlando metro area.
Nice.
And over 95% of those houses sell cash.
Wow.
So that tells me most of those people own multiples of those houses.
So that's that number of houses. How many realtors are there in the state of Florida
that
or in the Orlando
that,
metro area?
that market is so intimidating. You do not see any one agent dominate that market.
Yeah.
It is very 1 to 2, 3 a year. You can talk about your highest of the high agents in Central Florida, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's selling a house in Disney's Golden Oak, and he's selling a house, $4, $5, $6 million house
That's
on
a crazy neighborhood.
Lake
That
on
is-
Lake Butler and Windermere." So you only have 6 to 7 developments in the Central Florida area that offer those caliber of houses. And now they have Magnifica coming in as well, which is going to be your highest of the high luxury in Central Florida. You're looking at $2.5 million condos, possibly $10 to $20 million penthouses.
Seems
in the same
reasonable.
building. Yes. So when it comes to Central Florida, we can't compete with the coastal markets. Your people that have that amount of money, they have yachts, they have boats, they want to be on the coast. But we're growing at such a substantial rate, they're trying to offer something to those people. Correlating back to what I started with, the market doesn't dictate those people.
Okay.
They have enough money, they make their own rules. They want the best of the best. They're just going to come in and buy a $20 million house cash and then go buy another $15 million house cash in Miami. And I've spoken with agents in New York City and Miami, Florida, where the bottom of their market is the top of our market.
Yeah.
So it's a very close, tight-knit group that once you're in.
Oh, cool.
And trajectory rise long term, no disrespect to any other agent, but there's nothing in St. Cloud that's sold over $2 million, really ever, unless it's development wise. So when you're talking about the 15 to 20 year plan, St. Cloud agents know how to sell St. Cloud, they don't know how to sell luxury. Once luxury comes here, you're looking at the only luxury agent in St. Cloud.
I'd love to hear it.
That's great.
Right here hosting us.
There you go.
We've got inside scoop here, so
Yes.
That's amazing.
But thank you for your question.
no problem. Like I said, it's constructive conversation, but it's good to know and always get an idea of what you guys are doing as well, so we can all pass the referrals along.
Yes, and you're going to see development. Once one big development goes up in luxury and it sells, guess what? They know the money's there. So you're going to see more coming up. You asked me, give you numbers on the house we're sitting in being at Lakeside, right? So I'll say this. I've been in these rooms in Orlando with millionaires and possibly billionaires that make tons of money, and these big conglomerate people that look down on Osceola County and St. Cloud because they're not there yet. What they fail to understand and fail to realize is 15 to 20 years ago, your $3 million acre homes on Windermere used to be $15,000 fish camps on multiple acres.
Exactly.
People don't understand or realize the amount of growth that hit you. You're sitting what on used to be swampland that was worth nothing. It's eventually going to come here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd love to spend some time real quick on the future of this series of the podcast.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Constructive Conversations, our goal is
Our goal here is to, first and foremost, and I'll say this publicly, I don't care, it's our show, I can say whatever I want.
It's your party, you can cry if you
Yeah,
want to.
exactly. So I will say, we have a ton of people interested in this podcast. It's growing
Yeah.
substantially faster than we thought it would. We wanted it to happen.
we want it to happen.
But our sponsorships, you guys, our close relationships are all going to get spotlighted in a totally different way. We are trying to just do Thursdays and Fridays in the morning because we're both incredibly busy. We
Yeah.
have other things to do. This started as a hobby that's thankfully growing to something bigger. But you guys, our sponsors, our repeated customers, our people we love sitting down with and talking to more, you guys get to make your own schedule and we'll collaborate with you on that. That's a special thing that we're offering you because you support us, and it's a mutual relationship.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's not just you guys. I'm going to just break the ice here. We're talking about another one with Kenyon Lockery that's going to be music and just hangout related. It's going to be cigars and guitars.
Cigars and
I
guitars.
love that. Kenyon is a St. Cloud staple. Everybody knows Kenyon. If you don't, you'll get to know him. And if you
Yeah.
don't get to know him, it's because you didn't
Try.
leave your house.
Right.
So what we're trying
Kenyon's everywhere.
So what we're trying to do is have multiple episodes of constructive conversations and cigars and guitars.
Yeah, it'll be
That's
ongoing, episodic. We'll meet with you guys consistently.
And I know we did have plans on a couple newcomers today, or at least one newcomer, and I think that's great. We can expand on what we're doing by having a special guest
industry.
every time we shoot, a different industry involved, and get an inside scoop on what they're doing and where their trajectory is and what
Yeah.
their plans are for the year. So
Absolutely.
it's awesome to highlight all these people because there are so many small businesses that people don't even know exist.
Yeah, and they need to. And for some of those businesses, they are only word of mouth.
Yeah.
They don't do any marketing. That's just how they operate. Like,
Right.
for instance, I don't know if any of you guys have been to the record store in downtown. Bob's a good friend of mine. I go in there all the time because I collect records. Like, I sat down and did a podcast with him that unfortunately never seen the light of day. It was the second one I ever did, me and him just by ourselves. But immediately I thought, if we're going to do cigars and guitars and talk about music, we'll do one with Kenyon, but then we'll see if Bob wants to come
Yeah,
in
that'd be
because
great.
of the massive amount of musical knowledge he has from working in radio and playing in bands over the course of his life. That's another, it's just more insight and input. And he runs a local business
Exactly.
that has to do with music. So it's just about correlating and getting those like-minded people together.
And that's why we host what we host and host it the way we host it is because we don't have a brick and mortar. There is no, hey, come here
right.
every week, same time, same day, same place. By switching it up and going to these local businesses for our meetings, we're able to highlight a different business twice a month.
Right.
Bone Sack. There's so many people that don't know Bone Sack exists.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a newer up and coming brewery right here in St. Cloud.
Yeah. And they just opened up a beer garden, like a thing on the back.
Yeah,
It's a nice little
exactly.
area.
It's a good place to go hang out, go chill.
Yeah.
And that's the whole goal behind it, is to bring people through doors that they wouldn't normally go through, but they're going because they know the crowd of people that are there, and they know that they can network and get referrals, give referrals, create that network so they have referral partners.
Yeah.
If we've had one anywhere that the naked eye wouldn't know was a business, I'm gonna say Bunsack is probably
Of course.
it. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks
it's
like
like
a
a house.
house.
It's a house.
You drive by, you think it's a home, but
Yeah.
no, it's a
Or
brewery.
a lesser populated area. Like our last
Yeah.
nighttime meeting we have at Evolve Health and Wellness.
I never knew that place was even
They're
there.
like a nootropics med spa. I'm probably describing this wrong. Tori, Todd, I'm so sorry. They do a lot of weight loss. They do so many
Injection.
things. I don't want to go
Right.
too far, but go give them a call.
Minimally invasive.
Yeah, minimally invasive, all kinds of
Injection,
stuff.
yeah.
Weight loss, general health.
And I think
But-
Todd lost 60, 70
80 pounds, yeah.
So
But
he's
that's the
a-
thing, is like, so many people don't know these places exist.
Yeah.
And if we put everybody in the same room, I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick shout out. So, Becky Bond, she owns Safety First PD Aquatics. And we can all argue, we all, with the exception of Dalton, we all have children at this table.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know
That's
statistically.
the one on Hickory Trees. Yes, I've
Yeah,
been
so
there. Yes.
so Becky came to Evolve for the first time, and she's, oh my gosh, this exists. Like, we're not some underground network. Come in, get connected, and
Yeah.
everybody should know what Becky Bond does. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know, she
100%.
teaches children how to swim and save themselves in a pool.
Yes.
But there are people that don't know what Becky does, and there's also people like Becky that don't know we do what we do.
Right.
Now she's part of the group. Thanks, Becky. We'll get her out there.
100%. And that was the point of this podcast, is opening up the door of, hey, this is St. Cloud. See the inner workings.
The same thing with the Black
Speaking of
Squirrel.
children.
Right, speaking of kids. The same thing with the Black Squirrel bookstore.
Yeah.
From the outside perspective, it looked like an antique store, and then because of Connect, we see.
Yeah.
No, you're a family man. We don't got to
I am a
pause it.
family man. I was trying to work past it, but
We're not
So,
going
like-
down.
yeah,
That's
we're
a
not
glimpse
we're
into
not cutting
Aaron's
it out.
life.
That's a glimpse into Aaron's life. My children are
That's it. So
here today with us.
I was talking about the Black Squirrel bookstore.
Yeah.
From the outside perspective, like you look, it's an antique store. Now she's changing, she's evolving.
Yeah.
But still, back it's hard to see what is it. But then when you walk in, it's beautiful. It's
And that's what's
easy.
cool about it. She's got a speakeasy in the back.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
awesome. And no one
Knock
knew. Like, we
twice,
didn't know about
knock
it. Right?
twice, pull on the black squirrel's
Yeah,
head,
yeah.
twist it a little bit. Yeah.
And then she's also going to do a beer garden in the back. She's almost done with it, which is awesome. And then a whole event space in the front. But not many people would have known.
She's doing booths, right?
Yeah,
So
little
they
booths.
were
And there's,
planning,
but
like,
there's
a little
still
VIP
so
booth thing.
many
So
know about, like,
right.
you know, the general public, you take a walk down Main Street, if you will, but down New York or 10th or something like that. You see these buildings, you might see a sign on the door, but I feel like there's so many people that aren't willing to take that first step and get in their doors. You get a couple people in by happenstance at a meeting, and next thing their business is benefiting
Yeah.
immensely.
It's like the
100%.
place we went to the night we were down there for the monthly market. It's on New York, next to the gun shop. It's like an ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Oh, Sweet Spot.
Sweet Spot.
Spot.
Oh,
Yeah,
trust me,
Snowball.
they're famous.
The apples.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the apples.
ridiculous.
Davies
They're
apples
off the
are
hook.
the best apples ever.
Yeah,
We're just
they're
shouting
good.
everybody out, but
Yeah.
you know,
But that's part of it.
it
That's
is
part
an
of it.
absolute part of
And
it.
I also, a conscious decision, St. Cloud's starting to open up to that business, the monthly market, all of this stuff. This podcast, I was like, I need to showcase that all of this is available right here. Don't just, I love that it's small community, but we also need to bring other people in to the community. When you can think what you want, but I don't like the pushback on that. I understand small town. Trust me, more than anyone, 6th generation St. Cloud, I understand small town. There's 5 families around. with
You
one
don't
family
miss the
with
cows.
kids.
Exactly.
He doesn't miss the cows.
I'm not saying I don't miss the cows. What I'm saying is you need people in the community to reinvest in the community.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what stops it from becoming a failed community. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So yes, it's a small community. Yes, it's growing. But if no one reinvests, it's just
Yeah,
going to
it's
be
about the
a dump.
reinvestment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of investment, though, do you guys know what's going next to? Is it the Jiffy Lube, in between Jiffy Lube and Culver's?
I just so happen to know.
All right.
Yeah.
What is that?
Allegedly,
Okay.
it's a Chipotle.
Okay. And there's 2 spots there.
There is a second spot. I think the second spot it's just available.
Okay.
A lot of businesses do that, which
Got
is genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Cool, Chipotle.
fairly
Sorry.
certain it's a
I'm okay
Chipotle
with
that's
that.
going in there.
If you put a business in there and have they can at least pay for
Yeah.
part of it.
Exactly.
Publix
Yeah, but
is
this-
huge on that. They
Yeah.
build the whole
No Publix,
plaza.
and then they have everything.
They
else.
collect the rent.
Yeah. pretty
Now
much.
we could get some laughs and tell people that what's going next to that Chipotle is either a dentist office or a mattress store
Maybe even a tire shop.
or
Well,
a tire shop.
I did see a drive-through window.
That's
store
Chipotle.
dial.
The mattress store still.
Oh, that's the Chipotle.
On the left side, I believe.
Chipotle has a drive-through.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Chipotle in the tractor? I did not know that.
Don't even have to get out and stand in line. You can
Look
sit
at
in your
that.
car and wait in line.
Look at that.
Well, I have a closing question for you guys.
Okay.
Since we had your son making some noises, and I do want to talk about younger demographic and younger businesses coming into the community. So my closing question for each of you, even you, Jason,
Okay.
would be, each of you have done your business for quite a while now. What would be the advice you would give to your younger self just
That's a
starting
good
out? Starting with Austin.
It's deep.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I left a job. I joke and say the first year I made $100,000 at my last job, I quit.
Bryant.
It was a big move. You'll never know what is gonna happen unless you start. What's the worst case? You fail and you start over. We've already done it once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've already made it once. You can do it again. I'm not saying don't have some type of plan or a market that you want to go after, but you'll never know unless you do it. It can be very great. Don't be scared. You can do it. If anybody of us sitting here can do it, you can do it.
Aaron, what about you?
To be brutally honest with you, my advice to a younger person that's trying to start out, like Austin said, business takes risk. Without risk, there is no reward, honestly.
Entrepreneurial mindset is sometimes it's a bitch to have one.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Follow up and decisiveness. In the business world, there's so many moving parts and it'll blow right past you. If you cannot make up your mind, if you're an indecisive individual,
Business is not for you.
I will tell you, change that habit, start a business.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to make on-the-fly decisions,
Yeah.
executive decisions,
Yep.
just from the hip. If you're not quick thinking and you're not moving with it, it's going to blow right past you. So I would say make sure that you can make these concise decisions. Make sure your follow-up is strong, and don't be afraid to take risks. A lot of what we do as small business is follow-up, making sure that people are happy, making sure that people are receiving exactly what they're requesting. So,
I will. So I'm reading a book right now that got down to the root word of decide. So decide ends with side, which is in Latin means to kill off. So when you're deciding, you're killing off all other options. So you have to learn to kill off all other options
That's
to
right.
decide on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Matt?
Best advice I'd give my younger self would be open-minded. I never gave myself a backup plan. I didn't have a backup plan. I think backup plans, you're setting yourself up for failure. You gotta go all in and not look back. I quit my job. I had twins that were just right about a year old. I had a newborn that was 3 weeks old when I quit my day-to-day job, and I had nothing.
You and I are alike in a lot of ways, and like I said,
I would just tell everybody, make the connections, walk in the door, shake hands, don't be afraid of nothing, just give it everything you got and make a run at it.
If you look at it, all of us here have an open mindset
yeah.
instead of a fixed mindset. And that's what makes an entrepreneurial spirit. We can't have that fixed mindset. If you
Yes.
stay, it's what it is. You have to be open to change. You have to be open to new things, open to learning things. And yeah, that's one advice. The second advice I think would be stay home as long as you can. Stay with your parents as long as you can. And during that period, if you want to work at 21, at 22, whatever, fine. Use that money and invest it.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing I couldn't do. When I was growing up, I immediately went to work and I had to pay bills immediately. 100%. Any young entrepreneurial mindset person, like you have to stay at home as long as possible, and your job, whatever you're doing, invest.
And I found that really is, I look at it as a boomerang effect. Whatever you're putting into it, more is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
100%.
So put every single thing you have into your business.
Yeah.
I do work with and coach younger people a lot that are brand new to the industry and come to me with questions, and I get calls from old agents I've worked with at other offices all the time, still asking me questions. And it always comes down to, what would you do? And I'm like, I could speak from the experience I have now, but I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I understand. Like, the first thing I always tell people is calm down.
Yeah.
Like, just calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Like, when I hear their struggles with other agents, I'm like, you're struggling because they're struggling. Like, when you're in a deal with another agent and they're getting upset, it's because somewhere, somehow, they don't know what they're doing. somewhere that frustration's coming from somewhere, and you're
Calling their own
frustrated.
bluff.
Yeah, and you're frustrated because you're doing the same thing. So my one big advice to anyone, and you learn this in martial arts and jiu-jitsu very quickly, is slow down. Slow down, feel it, think about it. My second one would be, do not, to go with what you said, Austin, do not be afraid, because you're going to go through, I've talked with people, especially recently, that have, there's a boss here, and then there's a boss there, and there's a boss there, and then I have my head honcho up here. I'm like, go through as many people as you can to get to that person, because that person got to their position because he was also a disruptor. When you're in the right rooms, people will respect that you are there to disrupt things, because they trailblaze their way to that top of that position. Don't take no for an answer.
That's
To add to it real quick, like you said, there's, like I said, starting and having that,
Having confidence.
having confidence in yourself.
That's
it
the
takes a while to
main thing.
get there. It does.
That's the main thing.
For
Do
agents.
everything that scares you.
Yes.
Yeah, get out of your comfort.
There's
There
no
we go.
perfect. There's no perfect time. If you think of any aspect of your life, like Jason was talking about, at least in mine, and I don't know if it's everybody's. There's never a perfect time to move out and
Right.
start your own life. There's never gonna be a perfect time to have children. There's never
Yeah.
gonna be a perfect time to buy a new car. It's never gonna be an ideal situation, no matter what. There's not. Like I'm getting to. There's never a perfect time to start a business. There's never gonna be. There's always gonna be someone that does the same thing you do. There's always gonna be someone that, heck, even does it better, or even does it worse, or there's never gonna be a perfect time. Just start and do it and figure it out. And if you have an open mind and you stay calm and you have just a little bit of a half-assed plan, you'll make it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
People
You just
are
have to be driven.
People are always looking for that. "Oh, I don't know, like you said.
Don't hesitate.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do it. You know, should I do this? Should I go there? Should I? And if you do that, you're just gonna run yourself in a circle and accomplish nothing. So just start and move forward. Even if a big thing for me last year, I went from 3 dumpsters to 15 dumpsters. I don't necessarily. If I don't get 15 more this year, I'm not going to call it a loss. If I get 4 more this year, you're still stepping forward.
Right.
As long as you're moving
Falling
forward, you're
forward.
moving.
Yeah,
Falling
forward.
Yeah. And there's just time in what you do with it.
Yep.
Was it fall 7 times and get up 8?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, you have to, and that's what I highlighted
You will fall
earlier.
too. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna do a job that you make no money or it costs you money.
It's just getting harder to get back up. We're getting a little older.
Yeah, if you fear failure, this will toughen you up very quickly.
Yeah,
because-
quick. It's a reality check every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to conquer the world. No, you're not. Sit down, little boys. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Very humbling.
It's
Yes.
so humbling. There's so many things. There's so many people that are out there
forward.
doing what we're trying to do. But I urge everybody to try it.
Yeah.
I think anybody should own a business at one point. You're gonna see that it's not as easy as it looks, but you're also gonna be able to see that it's very lucrative and it's very rewarding if you do it right.
Yeah. And I think for your story in general, going back to what you shared earlier, was a little bit of you traded in the comfort of having the money, but you wanted more freedom.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very big correlation at this table is I want the freedom. I want to be able to do my own thing. That's the American dream in and of itself is I want to cultivate these opportunities that are in front of me and not be stuck somewhere.
Yeah. Be a
I
bigger
said
part
if
of
I
it.
was gonna be broke, it was gonna be my fault.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna be
Yeah.
at the risk of, or at the whatever you would call
At
it,
the
beck and
hands of-
call of
hands
somebody
of
else.
everybody.
If I'm gonna make it, that's gonna be because of me. I'm gonna decide what's gonna happen
Yep.
going forward.
Controlling your own destiny is
And,
pretty cool.
you
Having
know,
the freedom to do that is a
yeah.
blessing.
It's
Yeah.
worked so far. I've invested a lot of the money that we've made has been invested right back into the business. You just
Yeah.
have to change your mindset and re-gear yourself.
And one more thing before we do close out, since everybody else is adding on to it, sacrifice. There
Yeah,
is, and that needs to be the biggest thing. People, must be nice. They see that you went and bought a new truck.
You don't get it.
They see that you went. They're not getting the phone calls at 10 o'clock at night because somebody, I don't know what's happening, but this is happening. I need you to fix it. They don't see missing events at school with your children, missing this, missing that. Business in any. If you have a vested interest in the company, there will be sacrifice on your end, no matter what.
This podcast is it's Saturday for the
Yeah.
viewers. It's Saturday morning.
I thought we were getting paid for this.
No.
Just made you guys breakfast.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, honestly though, sacrifice.
Yeah, I
is
thought
huge in
I thought
business.
so too.
No,
When I started. So.
our hosts aren't even getting paid. Thank you guys, really.
No, it's been awesome.
Appreciate it.
It's been awesome. In order to expand our podcast, if you guys and you at home, if you could like, share, of course,
Please,
share to everybody, subscribe to our channel. I mean, it's growing every day, which is great. It's a Live in St. Cloud podcast on YouTube. And then I'm going to start syndicating also to Apple and Spotify very soon.
Love it.
So
We are growing.
So
Yeah,
we
we
can
are
listen to us on
Ourselves.
Apple Podcasts. That's great.
eventually, yeah. So we're going to set that up. It takes some time to do the algorithm change. And,
Yeah.
But at least right now we're on YouTube, Live in St. Cloud podcast on YouTube.
Any closing thoughts?
Jordan, what do you think? It's about sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice, man. I appreciate you. He's been sick also, so I feel like.
Isn't he doing its birthday thing?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
recovered. Like
He's
well,
still
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday,
happy
Jordan.
birthday. Yeah, he's getting over being sick. He's got a bunch of family and friends.
We get him a
around.
cake?
It's supposed to be a secret. Got some bagels.
Yes, amigos.
We made him breakfast.
Yeah, we
he
did make
ate
him
a great
breakfast.
breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
So
Birthday breakfast.
So next time when we meet, we'll have a different conversation. It'll be probably a different location as well. But yeah, happy,
Like to
happy
keep you guys
continue
on our
having,
toes,
Yeah,
you know?
constructive conversations. This is great.
Yes. So it'll probably end up being springtime when things are picking up, hopefully picking up greatly in the real estate world.
hopefully we can't sit down together and we've got to do a video podcast via behind the steering wheel or off a roof or
Yeah, yeah.
at a
That'd be awesome.
landfill or
Guys, just so you know, we've been have enough guests on the docket for pretty much every other week, every week. And this is fantastic, pretty much for the entire year.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
If we really wanted to schedule everybody now, we could probably go through September, October easily.
That's
No,
beautiful.
it would be the entire year. I think just the last time we sit down and we've had more inquiries since then, it was around 30 or more people.
Yeah.
So if that's every 2 weeks, that's the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot, and that's why I double down on if you come in here and you talk with Jason and I, you have a good time, expand on the relationship. Get it out there, come back, have more conversations. If you want to sponsor, make your own time. We'll be flexible. We'll be
Right.
available.
And the sponsorships could be anything. It could be a simple logo placement, as we have for the ones involved. It could be mentions when we post it on social media. It could be help sponsor water bottles. Like it could pretty much be anything, and I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be times where we go into restaurants and we have things in
Yeah.
restaurants, and then bring the food. It could be sponsored as well. I'd say, hey, this is a great restaurant. So anybody who wants to be involved and wants to look and watch our podcast grow, we're
Yeah.
open to that.
It's
So-
the prioritization as well, because if we're this booked now, 6 months from now, we're probably going to be booked up into the next year
I mean,
and then
how-
the following year. So then if you approach us and say, hey, do you have time in the next 2 months? No.
We don't have time in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have a serious conversation. you know?
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen those MMA fights when they're, or even boxing when they're in the front and they're doing the interviews? It's not a podcast,
Yeah.
but they have water bottles right in front.
Perfectly placed.
Perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Like, right, it doesn't even have to be mentioned
No.
or anything. They have Coke or
is subliminal
Gatorade, or
marketing.
in this case, Complete Construction. But they have it right there. their
This is
logo
the
placement.
finest glacial
Finest water. It really
Eskimo
is.
water.
It
If
really
you've ever
is.
seen the Water Boy,
It's good water.
we source this directly from the melting ice
springs.
caps. Yeah, no.
But it's great, and I
Bobby
love
Boucher
seeing it.
is our spokesperson.
I love seeing it.
And we'll queue for that.
So yeah, on that note.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sitting
Oh,
down.
appreciate
Aaron,
you guys.
Thank you for breakfast.
No bloopers. We're
Thank
good.
you for
No,
breakfast.
we're
Besides
good.
the kid.
One
Sorry
take,
about that.
one take, guys. One take. Okay, that's it. We're good.
Thank you guys for sitting down again.
God, I
Can't
needed
wait
this
to
so
do
bad.
it again.
Absolutely.
That was Austin, Aaron, Matt, Jason, Dalton, as always, inviting you to find your way to live in St. Cloud. Thanks, guys.
See
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Perfect.
Oh, my back. I thought we were done.
Leave that in. Yeah, you can leave that in.